B'ezrat Hashem, Mincha is going to be at 8:10. Please be on time. The Halacha that we were discussing on Friday was Yain, wine, is poter kol minei mashkin. Exempts with its bracha borei Peri Hagefen, exempts all other drinks. So we see from here that wine is considered a very prestigious drink. The Gemara says, in a similar vein, if a person has a meal with bread, and inside the meal he wants to drink wine, he has to say a bracha on the wine. And we don't say that the bracha of Hamotzi Lechem min haaretz, which typically exempts all other foods and all other drinks within the meal, but it does not exempt wine. And the reason is because wine is chashuv, wine is considered prestigious, and therefore the Hamotzi cannot cover the bracha of the wine, and you have to actually say borei Peri Hagefen. The authorities discuss, the Rishonim and the Gemarot discuss what happens if a person said Kiddush. He had wine during the Kiddush, and then immediately, of course, minhag is to do Kiddush, and then do Netilat Yadayim, and then do Hamotzi Lechem min haaretz. And now, inside the meal, he's planning to drink wine. So, does the bracha borei Peri Hagefen exempt the wine that's inside the meal? So the rule is like this. As long as he had dat, which means that he had an understanding, that he intended to drink wine during the meal, so that's good enough. Once he said borei Peri Hagefen, he can now drink during the meal without a bracha. That borei Peri Hagefen covers it. But he didn't have it in mind. So let's give as an example. A person went ahead before the meal and brought wine to the table and put it on the table. And he went ahead and said a bracha on, let's say, grape juice or a different bottle of wine, but he knew for sure he was going to be drinking from that wine. That's called intending. Let's say a person didn't put the wine on the table, but every single week he has wine. That's also called intending, because something that you're used to doing is as if you had specific intent to do, even if you didn't formally think it through, but because that's your routine, so that's called intention. But let's say a person was not used to drinking wine during the meal, and he didn't really intend. He didn't bring the wine to the table. He didn't intend to have the wine. And then in the middle of the meal, for some reason, he says, I have this bottle, I never tried it, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have some wine. So there, indeed, he actually does have to make a bracha of borei Peri Hagefen, even though he did the Kiddush on wine. And the reason would be, I'll leave Atov HaMetiv out for this discussion. Let's say it was a lesser wine. And the reason why he would have to make another bracha on the borei Peri Hagefen is because that original bracha, he didn't have in mind this wine. So the borei Peri Hagefen cannot exempt things that simply were not in his mind. So this is called nimlach. This is called deciding to drink more, and that would actually require another borei Peri Hagefen in the meal. Baruch Adonai Le'olam.